So, long division of polynomials. This is a more challenging thing just because people don't like dividing as it is. So I'm going to go ahead and remind you of how you divided when it was just numbers. It wasn't a polynomial. Remember, a polynomial means that it has numbers and variables together. So if we do 3 divided by, I'm sorry, I read that backwards. 5,472 divided by 3. You take the 3 and you see, okay, how many times does 3 go into 5? Well, it only goes in once. Then you say 3 times 1 is 3. And then you subtract them. 5 minus 3 is 2. And then you bring down the 4. I should have done that in a different color, but that's okay. Okay, now you're going to say 3 times what gives you 24? Well, 3 times 8. So 3 times 8 is 24. So then you would say 24 minus 24, and that's 0. Then you bring down the 7. Oh, that color doesn't work. Let me use the pen. Just to warn you, that announcement did come on. They said they're going to test the fire alarms. So if it comes on, I apologize. I will pause the recording. So then it's 3 times what gives you 7? Well, 3 times 2 is 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. Then bring down the 2. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 minus 12 is 0. Okay, so 5,472 divided by 3 is 1824. And so we would say it as 3 is a factor of 5,472 because it goes in evenly. So that's a reminder of how you do long division just using numbers. Now I'm going to go ahead and do an example. So example 1. So if we have x cubed minus x squared plus 2x plus 4 divided by x plus 1. I'm going to go ahead and write it under the long division. So x cubed minus x squared plus 2x plus 4. And I'm going to write x plus 1 out front. Okay, the first step you want to do is what times x equals x cubed. So you want to find what number times x, just like we did up here. You want to find what number times x gives you x cubed. So it would be x squared. So x squared times x, just like we did up here, you have to multiply it back in and write it below it. So x squared times x is x cubed. And then you're going to go ahead and multiply this into here too. So x squared times 1 would be x squared. Now, just like we did up here, you're going to subtract these. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that so that you remember. So make sure you subtract. So that we because you want this first part to cancel. So that cancels out. And then negative x squared minus x squared would be negative 2x squared. Okay. Then we're going to do and I should have written that down as another step, sorry. So then we multiplied x squared into the term x plus 1. Then we subtracted. Make sure to change the signs. And that's that part that I highlighted. Okay, now you're going to say what times x gives you negative 2x squared? Well, it would be negative 2x, because negative 2 times x would give you negative 2, x times x would give you x squared. So it would be negative 2, so now multiply it in, negative 2x squared, and remember that should cancel. Oh, I forgot to bring the term down. Darn it. Hold on. Where's my red? Bring that down so it should be plus 2x. Now, I'm still doing the right thing because you still want to look at this part, this first part here, and say negative 2x times x is negative 2x squared. Then you want to do negative 2x times 1. Negative 2x times 1 would be negative 2x. Remember, you have to subtract this, so it would actually become positive and positive. So that's again that changing the signs. And I'll make that look like a positive in the highlight too, just because of that color. All right, so negative 2x squared plus 2x squared, that cancels. Then we have 2x plus 2x, that's 4x. Bring down, so plus 4. Find what number times x gives you 4x. Let me change colors again. Change to orange. It won't really look different than the red, but that's okay. So then what number times x gives you 4x? It's a positive 4. So then multiply it in. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 1 is 4. Make sure you subtract both of them. I'm pausing it. Okay, there went the fire alarm, so now it's gone. Okay, and then so I multiplied that in and then I subtracted. So then 4x minus 4x cancels, and then 4 minus 4 cancels again. So that's a good thing. That means it's an even, that this is an actual factor. So remember how we were factoring stuff and it was always like, it looked like this. It never had an extra term out here, or it never had an x cubed. So this is pretty much factoring. It's just using long division. We will be doing what's called synthetic. Some people like it more, some people don't. It's all based on your opinion. Then, given this information, you could then find your other two zeros. That's why we do this. That's why we do long division, just because you need to. Goodness. So there was the fire alarm again. You need to be able to solve it using quadratic formula, completing the square, or whatever. But again, they give you this, and then they say find the whatever, divide it. They'll say use long division or use synthetic. I am going to do another example. If you think you understand it, you don't have to watch the second example. I just want to do another example for anybody that might need it. So this video will get longer. I just want to give another example for anybody that needs it. So the next example, if I have 2x cubed minus 3x plus 1 divided by x minus 1. Now, when I go in to do this one, the only difference is, notice there's no x squared term, so you do have to include that. So it would be, you would have that 0x squared right here in the middle. So it'd be plus 0x squared. So I'm going to write it as 2x cubed plus 0x squared minus 3x plus 1. And then my divisor is x minus 1. Okay, again, first step, find what multiplies times x to get 2x cubed. So it would be 2x squared. Multiply it out. 2x squared times x would be negative. It's positive, but I just know that I'm going to have to subtract. Sorry, I did that early. So it would be 2x cubed. Then multiply this out. 2x squared times negative 1 would be negative 2x squared. Change the sign, so this one should be negative. This one should be positive. That cancels like it should. 0x squared plus 2x squared would be 2x squared. Bring this down, negative 3x. Okay. Find what multiplies times x to get 2x squared. So it would just be 2x, and it's a positive because this is positive. So it would be positive 2x times x would give you 2x squared. 2x times negative 1 would be negative 2x. Change your signs. So this one would be negative, this one would be positive. Subtract. Cancels like it should. Negative 3x plus 2x would just be x. Negative 3 plus 2. If I owe you $3 and I give you 2, I owe you 1 more. Bring that down, plus 1. Okay, what times x gives you negative 1x? Well, negative 1. Negative 1 times x, negative 1x. Negative 1 times negative 1 would be positive 1. Change the signs, so that should be positive. That's now a negative. Subtract. Negative 1x plus 1x cancels. 1 minus 1 cancels. So that is your other factor. So if you factor out or divide out x minus 1, then you're left with 2x squared plus 2x minus 1.